Hey guys, welcome back. It's time to take a look at. We're gonna do a little peekaroo into the old Facebook. Uh, this from experience. I don't think it's worth buying, selling on Facebook in terms of like the Facebook groups and such. I think it's too much headache. I think your time is worth more than that. I think there are better deals to be found elsewhere. That being said, if you can find some deals on Facebook Marketplace, be very careful. There's a lot of scams on there. There's a lot of scams on everywhere. You always need to be on the lookout for it. But just the general overall feeling that I got when I got back into the hobby, when I was buying, when I was selling stuff, it was never worth my time. It might seem like it's worth your time, but in my opinion, it's not worth your time to be on there dealing with people that are either going to not ship stuff, they're going to sell something to someone else. They said they're going to sell it to you. They're going to not ship anything. They're going to ship it. Even if you're protecting yourself, which you should be. You have to be. Even if someone has 69 million feedback, they got their own feedback page. They got plus ones times a jillion. You never know when someone's just going to decide to absolutely screw you over. That's the worst of the worst. But I think the bigger headache is just the fact that there's just so many. It's just such a waste of time. There's just so many people. Again, it's similar to Whatnot in the fact that it's people doing business that have no business doing business, but they're not even on a platform doing business. This is just anyone that has a Facebook account. Your grandma could be on there. If your grandma is a little bit of the deceitful type, she might be ripping people off with Pokemon cards. Now, there are better options. I get it. I know. I post them all the time with the eBay. There's fake listings on eBay. Sometimes people don't send stuff, but the ease of which, the buyer protection that is involved, and the amount of time that you actually need to spend in order to protect yourself if something goes wrong, even if you just make the dumbest bid, the dumbest purchase of something that is obviously a scam, the ease of getting your stuff back, getting your money back is it's just so easy. It's very easy. You might have tied up your money for a little bit, but compared to what's going on the Facebook groups, always has been, it's just worlds of difference. If you're buying from consignment, there's a good chance they're not going to. So even if you're buying from eBay auctions, even if you're buying from eBay sellers, if you're buying from new sellers, if you're buying from sellers that are not established, they might be canceling sales. Sometimes even the big boys do that. Even the bigger sellers do that. If you're buying from consignment, which is it's kind of good in the fact that usually they're pumping out a bunch of stuff at the same time. Maybe they get more eyeballs on it, but there's also just so much stuff on the market. There's always going to be deals to be found. They're probably not. I shouldn't say they're probably not. They're definitely not going to be canceling. There's always going to be a worry about shill bidding. There's always going to be that sort of thing. But just the more you push yourself into the area of buying from reputable places, even if you're paying a little bit more, same with sealed product, any of that stuff, you avoid so much headache. And that's the thing. Headache is a huge pain point. I mean, I would imagine there's always people complaining about the scammers, about everything else. So the more you can move away from the scammers, the more you can move away from the people that shouldn't be buying and selling and everything else, the headaches and back and forth, and is it a scam? Is it not a scam? Do yourself a favor. If you find yourself in a situation where you have more headaches than not, you might need to move. You might need to focus your attention somewhere else. You can get the same cards. You can get the same stuff. Yes, there are fees. It's like selling on eBay. People just don't realize that the fees on eBay are worth it because of how many eyeballs and how easy it is to sell on eBay versus like having to deal with like, you have so many people just lowballing you, saying that they're going to buy it, not buying it. There are headaches with anything. Anytime you're selling, you're going to have crappy customers. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with it in a reasonable way. But regardless, let's take a look at a couple examples here. And these are the worst of the worst. But just in general, I think that it's a bad idea to be buying and selling on Facebook in terms of Facebook groups. I don't think you need to do that. I think there's a certain place for certain items that if maybe they're too hard to ship, maybe they're not valuable enough, maybe they just sell better on like a Facebook marketplace, or maybe you list it on both. If you want to really move some inventory, you have that extra time, but your time is valuable. Remember that. Should be learning, should be buying stuff, should be selling the stuff that you don't need, that you don't want. Regardless of whether you plan on being a business or not in the Pokemon space. It's all important skills to learn, or maybe someday you're just bored of it. Maybe someday you need the money and you got to sell stuff off. So establish yourself. It's good to have an eBay. sell off, trickle off the things that you don't need. Maybe you bought a collection. Collection buys, super underrated. No one likes to do it. No one wants to do the work. If you're buying collections, if you have more time than money, buying collections is the best way to go. Save up, buy a collection, piece the collection out. Make sure you're buying the collection so that you can make money on it still. But chances are, if you're selling the collection as an entire collection, you don't want to put the work in, you're not going to get as much as someone who's going to break it apart and sell the individual components to people who actually want those components. Wild, right? Wild theory, wild information, top secret in the hobby. I know it's crazy like that. But again, if you're not prepared, if you don't build up at least some kind of eBay presence, some kind of a method to sell your stuff, there's so many people that just go into it blind. Like the pandemic was the worst for it. So many people are just like hoarding. They got like a closet full of sealed product. Then oopsie doopsie, I have no way to sell all of this. And you can go through like a consignment, or you can find one of the big buyers. They'll give you a percentage of what the market value is, and they'll buy all your stuff. Now that might be a good option if you can't stomach the whole eBay, the whole am I going to get scammed? Is it going to get lost in the mail? All this other stuff. That might be a good option. But even if you're doing that, make sure you send it to someone reputable, whether it's a Z&G, a Catch 'em All, Rusty, or something like that. Got me? Got me? And make sure you're keeping all the receipts for the stuff that you bought. Sealed product, I don't even touch it. Secondary market sealed product, no thank you. Not for me. Just the potential for headache there. There's 1,000 other things that I'd rather be doing. All right. Now, into the point of the video, into the main juice of the video. We got a couple examples here. These are back from November of 2023. Regardless, this is the same kind of scenario. This is the same stuff that you can run into. It's happened a million times. It can sometimes it's somebody reputable, sometimes it's someone brand new. But people trust people way too much, and there's this weird theme where like you can see it coming a mile away, looking from the outside. There's always an excuse. There's always somebody that died. There's always somebody that's in the hospital sick, whether it's the person that's selling you the stuff or it's a family member or anything like that. There's a sob story with every one of these. It took me all of 2 seconds to find 2 for the video today. Here we have it. Scammer alert. Shay is posting this back in November 23rd of 2023. Saying, we contacted Anthony Grimm about an ad on the Pokemon cards buy, sell, and trade group. He was responsive in the beginning, but then started talking about a death in the family delaying his ability to ship. Who would have thought? I've started pushing now for responses, and now he has stopped answering messages. We also paid through Venmo and forgot to add protection. Ooh, no. So even if it's somebody that's willing to take a protected payment method, if you send it without protection, if you're like, oh, they got to be trustworthy, right? You put money in front of somebody and say, like, here, you don't have to send me anything. Here's the money. Things can go the complete opposite direction. Maybe he was going to send the stuff. Maybe he didn't because he received the money and he didn't have to anymore. So we've seen it before on the channel here. You put a bag of cash in front of someone. Maybe they do something stupid and they steal it. Then they get caught. And hilarious. Hilarious because, we can call it hilarious because it all kind of worked itself out, but not hilarious that somebody would do something like that to somebody else. We've requested our money back and it's been denied every time, and now we appear to be blocked. Classic. I'm not sure if we add things like Venmo names to these posts, but I have one and can provide if it's allowed. Initial payment was sent 10/11, still no cards, tracking number, and again, responses have gone silent. So then, again, this is the amount of time that you're going to spend like, hey, I know you're telling me that you're sick, you're in the hospital, or your family member, XYZ, all of that, all of the excuses, you're going to have to go back and forth with them. There's just a ton of time that you're wasting here. A ton of time that you could be spending enjoying your life, whether it's Pokemon card related or not. So please consider that when you're doing this stuff. If you're finding yourself spending more time on headaches than you are, even if it's every so often, even if 1 in 10 of transactions ends up being a headache, ends up being canceled, ends up being you have to go get your money back. Chargebacks are a giant headache. It's a good last resort if there's a lot of money involved. You want to get your money back, that kind of thing. So here you can see where you're able to ship. Anthony, I'm sorry to do this. Scott would like to back into the deal, etc. So you're going back. You're going over and over again. Where is it? And of course, this is for the evolving. Why is it that a lot of evolvings? It's always like the really desirable items. So they were going to do $700 for a pair. They were asking $370 each. I know that's ridiculous if you look at it now. If you're thinking price-wise, it seems like a great deal. But again, silly, just such an absolute waste of time. Pretty ridiculous. So here you have it. You get no response. Sometimes they'll turn it around. They'll make you seem like the bad guy. They'll be like, oh, I can't believe you didn't even let me recover in the hospital while I didn't ship your stuff, but I said that I shipped it and didn't ship it. We got another example that is similar to that. Before we get into it, I would like to thank you guys for using the link tree. Much appreciated. We got all the stuff here. Thank you guys for shopping for your cards from the below, from the stuff on the screen here. Your codes with the Rattle 5. The Rattle 7, much appreciated. Card Trader, Card Markets, Securus Card Shop, and Troll and Toad. These make the openings on the channel a whole lot more possible. We got a bunch of discount codes for the stuff that I like. I've been collecting these. You guys have been using them. You guys have been saving some money on the stuff that you should be buying anyway. Again, if you're buying stuff on here, your supplies and everything else, not only are you certain that you're going to get it, not only are you certain you're going to get this stuff, that they're going to make it right with the big name stuff, but you're saving some money at the same time. And then the stuff down below here, this is above and beyond. Instead of sending me money, instead of sending super chats, get on here, click this stuff before you're buying at Walmart, Target, Amazon, whatever the hell else you want to buy. If you're shopping on eBay, any of that stuff, much appreciated for everyone that's clicking those. Those are an awesome way. It takes an extra couple of seconds to do it, so I do appreciate it. But I'd rather you buy yourself something you want, that you need, or buy something for your loved ones. Buy your significant other a Pikachu or something. Now, we got the merch. Reminder for the merch. I'm going to remind you for the merch. You have until October 25th to sign up on the website. The link will be down below. It is glow in the dark. It is the hat that I'm wearing currently. It is expensive. It's the hat that I wanted, and I just want to make it available to everyone. Do not purchase this as a means to, if you're just looking to support me financially, do not do that. Use the affiliate links instead. But if you do want a hat, they are available. They are expensive. They're New Era $59.50, custom embroider. We even went above and beyond with the glow in the dark thread on the old white portions of it. And then I'm gonna have the get everything in by October 29th in terms of payment. I got to send out some payment requests for people. I just want to break even on these, and it's cool that people actually want them. It's one of those things where people ask enough, making them available for that reason only. So keep that in mind. Super expensive. Do not feel like you need to purchase one in order to support the channel here. There are better ways, cheaper ways. Let's see what we got here. We got one by Michael Peterson. Negative feedback and public awareness for Derek Som. Purchase singles and 2,400 bulk cards from Derek on Monday, 3/13/23. In one of his claim sales, he was told he would provide tracking shortly, reached back out that Saturday, and was fed a story about being in the hospital, but assured me it was already sent out. Received a tracking number that Monday, but tracking showed order still hasn't been sent and wasn't actually sent until the next day. Knowing this and seeing him unsend messages from our conversation, didn't say anything. Still, I just let it be. Package arrived 3/23/23 and no bulk. So, incomplete order. This is the kind of shit that you see on Whatnot. That's why I'm just saying, just like, avoid Whatnot as well. Unless you find some very reputable seller, you have to trust them inside and out because they could be leasing you. Be careful. Be extra careful when you're on a Facebook. Be extra careful when you're on a Whatnot, whatever it might be. Now, Whatnot, this is a scenario where maybe Whatnot solves the issue here. If they find out you didn't get your entire order, maybe they refund you for that. Maybe they give you some Whatnot credit in order to get that. But again, this is one of those things where if you just buy from somewhere reputable, you buy from someone that you should trust, that you do trust, you're much less likely to get hosed in this way. So here we got it. We got some singles, we got some singles, we got some bulk, we got unsent messages. Standard scammer tactic. You unsend all your messages because why wouldn't you? We got 50 bonaroos. Ridiculous. Like someone's going to scam you for $50, but if they're doing it to multiple people, or if they're just, again, this is just like, there's a lot. there's a lot kind of everywhere. There's a lot of sellers on eBay that are not very professional, that don't understand how it works, how sales work in general. But overall, the amount of headache that you're going to save yourself. Not sponsored by eBay. Just saying, eBay, typically the best place to be buying and selling stuff. Best protection. If you're selling, you're going to get scammed some percentage of the time. If you join the Discord, there is a list of suggested blocked peoples, blocked accounts that you should block in order to make that a little bit easier on yourself. If you have proof of someone that is scamming, do reach out, let me know, and I'll see if I can add them to the block list. Also, I guess I should have pumped it again. We have the product tracker, so if you're looking for 151 or any of the new any product restocks, that sort of thing, it used to be kind of paywalled by a bunch of G-ballers, making that available to everyone so that everyone's on an equal playing field. So if you're looking for new product, buy it from there. Don't buy it. Everyone's like, oh, I hate the scalpers. Well, just buy it from there. You'll have an equal chance to pick some of that stuff up. Don't buy it from the secondary market if you don't want to support that type of thing. By all means, have at it. Pretty awesome that that's a thing. Thanks to Securus Card Shop and Tap for making that a possibility. So here we have it. We have, like, he said he's got tracking. He doesn't have tracking, but hey, do you have the tracking? You got to remind them. You got to keep reminding them. That's not a thing if you're buying from somewhere reputable. Typically. I mean, there's probably some obscure case where, like, you didn't get your tracking and something glitched out. But for the most part, like, are you seeing the headache here? Are you seeing, like, the repeated need to, like, remind somebody that you paid the money for something and they did not they said they were going to give you tracking. Maybe they didn't ship it yet. Maybe they're pretending that they shipped it. Maybe they ship it to somewhere else. They give you a bogus tracking number. Maybe they ship an empty box. Anything of the sort. Like, and it could be just like a stupid dollar value, like $50. Maybe they're banking on the fact that you're just, like, going to ignore it. You're going to be out $50 and you just suck it up. So here they tell the seller that it has been a shit experience, and I'd have to agree. If you have to remind them to send you tracking on something, and they're like, oh, oopsie doopsie, I'm in the hospital, or my family's in the hospital, or my dog died, or anything like that, none of that matters. Get the stuff out. If somebody buys stuff from you, send the stuff out. There's probably some... I'm going to say that most of the time, whenever excuses like this are made, it's probably just a lie, or it's something that they're just buying themselves time or something like that. But, like, that's not your problem. You bought something. You sent money for something. You should receive something, the thing that you agreed to purchase, in return. It's pretty simple. Well, for starters, they absolutely had to be shipped separately. I guess I should have put your cards in the bulk box. For two, I've been sick for 2 weeks in and out of the hospital. I run 2 Facebook groups and an eBay store, all of which have a 100% feedback on. So I think you're a pretty shitty buyer. And once bulk does arrive, we will no longer be doing any business together. I can't stand the impatient, pesky buyer. Just send the fucking shit. Why did you not send it all in the same box? It doesn't make any sense. Again, if you have an eBay... you don't get away with this shit on eBay. That's the thing. So if you bought it through his eBay store, yes, there would be fees incurred on the seller. I mean, if it's on the seller or on the buyer, regardless, typically that cost is going to be baked in. That's the other thing. While we're on the topic, what the hell? People don't understand that, like, free shipping is not free. It's just baked into the price. Whether I have a $40 item with $10 shipping, or I have a $50 item with free shipping, it's the same price. I don't understand how people don't understand that. It blows my mind, but I see it time and time again. Just pretend it's part of the price if there's a shipping charge on top of it. Or if there's a shipping charge that's separate, you can typically save a bunch of money if you buy more stuff and the shipping charge doesn't increase, or maybe it increases but not at the same rate as the items. So here's the tracking. Here it is. What's going on here? Why is it not going? I'll get it to you right away. Don't get it to them right away. If you can't manage 2 Facebook groups and an eBay, shut it down for the time being while you're in and out of the hospital if you need to. And if you can't do that, the agreement is there. The contract is there. You told them you were getting them tracking. You didn't get them tracking. Again, it's just like a ridiculous. It's insane that people put themselves through this. And the sooner that I get it. Everyone's new and people are like, oh, there's better deals. There's better deals on there. I can get the better deals on the Facebook groups. Not necessarily. The deals are there. You need to learn what's a good deal, what's not a good deal, no matter where you're buying stuff. But also, you can get the good deals without the headache, or you can reduce the amount of headache. Even if that one deal. Think about the amount of time that you could have spent looking for deals, whether it's on the Fanatics auctions, whether it's on eBay auctions, the new like PSA auctions or whatever. Those need to be cleaned up because they got like the min bid is just people putting, they need buy it now, so that's cleaned up. Whether it's on Z&G, which is through eBay, that sort of thing. If you're looking for deals through there, price some stuff out. Worst case scenario, you learn what stuff is worth. You learn how to look stuff up. You learn the obscure stuff that people aren't necessarily going after. Auctions are absolutely clutch. Even better if you can find a good deal on an auction through a consignment company like the Fanatics or like the Z&G kind of stuff, where they're not going to cancel. You win a $300 item for $20. You're not gonna. Those are going to be few and far between. But you find one of those, you win it. Guess what? They're not canceling. You're getting that. You're getting that item for $20. That sort of thing. So same thing with reduce the pain points. If you know you're going to want, if you're collecting one of every sealed booster box, just buy it early. Buy it while it's available. Avoid the whole FOMO thing, the whole like everyone wants everything, everyone thinks they want everything, anything that everyone is hyping up, anything that's like shiny thing that everyone's chasing after. Almost always you're better off waiting, or you're better off focusing in on something else that people aren't obsessed with. 151 is like a prime example at the moment. Buying 151 right now, where it's still available, it's still coming out. You can join the Discord, you can see the bots, there's restocks going on. If you want some 151 and you buy it that way, sure. It's going to be a little bit more of a struggle to get some because everyone's after it at the moment. But even like the singles, not only is there 151 still trickling out from like big box, to buy something that spiked that hard. Typically a spike, if it spikes too hard, if it's too good to be true, if the spike is too spiky, typically it's going to retrace. It might not go back to where it was. In the instance with 151, we just got news in English that we're going to get another product in February. So it wouldn't surprise me if not only do we get those products, but maybe some of the other products come through, whether it's big box, whether it's distribution, whatever it might be. It doesn't seem like 151 is anywhere close to drying up. So like buying 151 on the secondary market right now, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I could always be wrong. There's no way to tell for sure. It just seems like a dangerous, bad purchase. We'll call it a bad purchase. Regardless, hopefully this was insightful. Hopefully you guys focus in, regardless of where you are, what you're doing. If you're finding yourself with too many headaches, too much of a mess to clean up, and you're wasting your time on that rather than enjoying the hobby, buying stuff, finding deals and stuff like that, maybe you need to shift your focus onto to something more productive. And it might not be obvious because everyone's like, oh, no fees. I can just Venmo people on Facebook and I can get a better deal that way. Is it a better deal? Think of the time you could have spent doing something else, building up an eBay. If you need to build up a reputation, way too many people. Build up some social media. If you're buying and selling, and you don't have an Instagram, you don't have a Twitter, X set it up. Make sure it's all under the same name. If for some reason you're on eBay, someone sees all your stuff, or someone sees some of your posts and wants to buy off of there, and you can make arrangements if you're the seller and there's no risk on your end, why not? But like it's a lot of that stuff that's overlooked. It's a lot of that stuff that's extra work that isn't necessarily going to provide results right away. It's not the obvious right in front of you result that people often chase after, but it's something that it's a long-term payoff. People hate long-term payoff. People hate like planning or building something up. They just want immediate satisfaction, immediate gratification, immediate deal, immediate whatever it might be, even if it's not a repeatable process, even if it's not sustainable. That's what they tend to go after. So avoid that stuff. Avoid the carrot that's dangling, the 151 carrot in terms of the secondary market. If you like 151, I can't blame you. It's Gen 1, Gen 1 pump. We got a lot of crazy stuff coming out, so don't necessarily think that like that's the end all be all. Scarlet Violet is the only set is 151, the only one that's ever going to do good. I'm sure it'll do great long term because so many people like it. It's all Gen 1. You open it up, you get a bunch of that crap. Personally, it doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'm kind of like Gen 1'd out. I want to see some attention onto the other stuff. I like the new Pokemon, the new trainers, the new sets coming out, and where we got trainer Pokemon coming up. That's gonna be sick. We got Rocket. We got the evolution stuff is, you just wait. The Rocket, the evolution, the trainer Pokemon. It's gonna be ridiculous. It feels weird that we're in like another area after so much negativity on Scarlet and Violet. People like, oh, Scarlet and Violet sucks. I want to go back to the alt-arts. I want to go back to open and Fusion Strike. No one wanted Fusion Strike, but then they wanted Fusion Strike when it wasn't available anymore, or when they thought that like Scarlet and Violet is fucking badass. It is good. The IRs, the SIRs, they're all banging. And do not bring me back to, man, the Evolving Skies. Yes, the hits are hitty. All of that stuff, like the pre-trainer gallery Sword and Shield was rough. It's like 1 in 6 packs to get just a regular V or better. Like it will mow you down. And then now, especially where the price of the packs themselves is more expensive, like that is a rough opening experience. So I think enjoy the stuff when it comes out. Enjoy it. I open a responsible amount. Remember, keep in mind that like it's cheap when it's opening, relatively cheap in terms of packs. It might not be as exciting because everyone else doesn't want it, but you need to find your own appreciation for it. You need to open packs responsibly in general, because typically, almost always, the expected value of the contents of a pack is not going to equal. And then there's selling on the back end of that. If you want to make any of the money back from opening that stuff, regardless, even if you have a YouTube channel, there's probably some selling that goes into, or trading of the duplicates. Otherwise, you're sitting on a bunch of cards that you don't necessarily want. Do not open to pull one specific card. If you're collecting the set or something like that and you want to open a box or two, well, do it. Do it while it's new, while it's available, while it's inexpensive. Enjoy it. And then years from then, maybe even record it. You can look back and be like, oh man, that was $1,000 box that I opened. It wasn't $1,000 yet, but now it is. That was kind of the premise of my YouTube channel, I guess, to begin with. We were just opening some Pokemon cards, recording it for be cool to look back on, that kind of thing. This video was supposed to be over like 5 minutes ago. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining the Discord. Look out for each other out there. Make smart decisions. And surround yourself with people. Look at what the big guys are doing. Look at what the people are doing that have been in the hobby for 10 years. Look at what they're doing. And then ask yourself, are you doing the same thing they're doing? Or are you working towards that? Now, I get it. You're not necessarily going to have the setup. You're not going to have the established name, brand, store, whatever it might be of the people that have been in it as long as they have. But are you working towards that? Are you going to be around in 10 years? Are you going to be into Pokemon? Vast majority of people, from what I've seen, drop out. It's like a year, crash and burn. Bored of it, done with it, sell off everything or stick it in a closet. Maybe they come back, maybe they never come back. If you made it more than a year and you're still going strong, you're doing good. Just make sure you're making the right decisions to build yourself up. Thanks. Bye.